Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with the lovely Lindsay Bjorklund. Today, for those of you on the podcast, you missed her doing a very cute facial, I don't know what I don't even call it, but it looked great. Today, we are going to talk about how to build a team for your cleaning company that you actually like and trust. And if I can be so bold, that you like doing life with and are not a necessary evil, but people you actually enjoy spending time with. So that's the theme, and Lindsay, as is her custom, has gathered some questions from the community on that exact topic. So let's jump in.
All right. First up, we got Kristen, and she says, help me figure out what I am doing wrong to keep employees. It is just a complete revolving door. I lost 2 people in the past week, and this is every 3 months. I am short 2 girls, and now I'm going out to clean to fill in until I can hire people. But I can't find anyone to hire. I don't do the cleaning anymore. I'm okay with jumping in, but I have to transition from a cleaner to a business owner. How do I have the help without the revolving door? I am so defeated, and she put in caps, and mentally exhausted.
That makes me so sad. Well, good. I'm not good. I'm glad that we're able to help Kristen. So there's 2 pieces to this puzzle. One where people put most of the focus on, which is how to get cleaners to stay longer. And what I think is probably the bigger lever to pull, which is how to have more cleaners than you need. So when they leave, it's not such a big deal, right? If I got one chance to date and marry a girl and that girl broke up with me and I wanted to get married, I'd be devastated. If I got 1,000 dates to date a girl and one girl broke up with me, I might, depending on the girl, I might feel sad or not, but I'd probably just move on with my life knowing we're good to go. So what we do is most owners don't have sufficient dates or flow of people that want to work. So when someone leaves, they're scrounging. And the reality is they do that because often their funnel, I wouldn't even call it that, their mechanism, the process for hiring either doesn't work, or more likely, because everyone's got a process, they just hate it. Like the process is they ask their friends and family, and that's not wildly effective. Or they put an ad in Indeed and they get 1,000 applicants and they don't know what to do with them. And then they just get exhausted and don't do anything. And that's not, so it's not like they don't have a system. It's just the system isn't getting the results they want. So they kind of do this math of like, instead of hiring when you should be hiring, which is all the time, spoiler alert, Kristen, the big answer is you should be having people coming to you all the time. They do the math of which is more frustrating, the future risk of somebody quitting and me not having anyone, which isn't, we don't like it, or the current risk of having to do a hiring funnel I hate right now. And unfortunately for most humans, we'll almost always take potential future pain over guaranteed today pain. So we wait. And then unfortunately doing the hiring funnel now might be a 5 or 6, and then it can be an 8 or 9 but that's tomorrow Mike's problem. I don't have to deal with that. That idiot in the future Mike will deal with that. So step 1 is to have a hiring funnel that's working all the time. So when, not if, people quit, because we can help really decrease churn on a cleaning team. But anyone that tells you they can have forever cleaners everywhere at scale never quit, like that's crazy. People get sick or get pregnant or leave, or just things happen, right? Get another job, whatever the case may be. So step 1, most of you guys kind of sort of get like, yeah, I guess I need a hiring funnel. The piece that you miss is have a hiring funnel that not only works, but you don't hate. That's the key that you guys get stuck. Because if you didn't hate it, you'd do it. It's so funny. Our people, doesn't matter. As a lot of our clients turn it off. They don't even hate it. They're just so used to like, I don't, now I've got too many. They literally come in where Kristen is. I don't know people. And then they're like, they turn off their funnel and we're yelling, you shouldn't turn off your funnel. They're like, I have too many people. So they literally come from complaining there's not enough to, so just so you know, owners are always unhappy. Doesn't matter. Too many people, too few people, they're going to find a reason to complain. But that's the main but that's the main lever on the first piece, is not only have a hiring funnel, which I think most people get, have one that you like. And the way that we coach you to do that is, we coach you to have a core values-based hiring ad, which that's a little beyond the scope of this particular podcast. But if you have a core values-based hiring ad, you put it somewhere decent. Right now, Indeed, I don't love them as people or as a company, but they're good at their job. We'll get you most of the volume of flow, like people that want in. But the problem is people don't have a system to sift and sort kind of the people that are going to work and don't. So you just create that system. The way we would coach you to do it is automated text and email sequence to a group interview, right? So that whoever's going to run that interview just shows up and 0 to 10, 12 people show up and you deal with that. Then to a one-on-one interview, then to a working interview. And we coach you to have your employees do it, your cleaners do it, right? So 3 different employees, 3 different places, 3 different times over the span of about a week. Works out lovely. So it can take a minute to get that set up. But once you do set it up, it's exactly what you need. It's a system that works all the time and that you don't hate, right? Because it happens completely without you. So Kristen, to answer your question on how to, especially on the theme of how to build a team of people you actually like, is that's going to get your flow up, right? So you've got, most of the problem is not that Lindsay quit, it's that Lindsay's quit. I can't find another Lindsay. If I got 9 Lindsays behind her, as much as I love Lindsay, for my life, it's a much better place to be, which is actually better for Lindsay. Because if I got this like clawing, I need you, it's just it's not, Lindsay might feel like she's in charge and maybe she is, but it's not a good vibe for anybody. Like everybody wants a leader and a team like people want to be on, not like I'm kind of here doing you a favor. Like it's a gross vibe. So it's good for Lindsay to know I love her and I appreciate her and we love the contribution she makes. But if she left, we'd find someone else and maybe they'd be better in some regards and worse in some regards. And that's that, right? And she wants to be here and we want her to be here. And it's kind of this non-compulsory, like, oh, if I leave, Mike's screwed. Like, that's a weird vibe, right? And then me being her slave going, oh, Lindsay's not really good at her job, but, I can't, she's better than nobody and I don't have anyone to replace her, so like, we'll just keep this weird relationship where she doesn't really like it here and I don't really like her here, but she kind of needs me enough and it just is yucky. So it's better for everybody. Like Lindsay having other options is good for her to know, like, hey, I'm here because I choose to be here. If I won't starve if Mike goes crazy, I'll just find another job that'll be great. But I still want to be here because I love it. And then vice versa, me, like, I love Lindsay. I don't want her to leave and I don't want to have to replace her, but if I had to, it'd be fine. Much healthier for everybody. So have so many people coming in. So when someone quits, not if, you got a plan and it's no big deal. B, have it so that you don't hate it. And then to answer Kristen's question about how do I keep churn down, which is important, but until you have it, churn's never gonna be 0. So the reason I didn't talk about that first, if you don't have a plan to replace Lindsay, even, Lindsay's been here years and God willing, should be here years longer, but at some point we'll have to hire somebody. So we still need to have a system that we always have people. So assuming you get people coming in, that's the other thing. Even if I do have people coming in, it's really hard to, the part to answer Kristen's question is you can't just offer money to put your hand in a toilet, right? Like, hey, I'll give you $15 an hour, $20 an hour to swing this mop and clean that toilet and do that thing. It's just not a great job, right? It's not. They can make more at Chick-fil-A or at a call center or whatever the case, but I don't, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be a better opportunity for them than what you have if you just go on paper, like clean this for money. It's not great. What you can give, and this is where you have a massive advantage over like a Chick-fil-A or a call center, is culture and the experience, right? Like Lindsay could, I'm sure, make more money if that was her number one. Hopefully she feels she's getting compensated fairly. But if she's like, I just want money, I'd be like, girl, if that's number one for you, let's find you. I'm sure we can find you more money. But, and I want to feel free to correct me if I put words in your mouth, Lindsay cares about our people. And what we do here is important to her. And it gives her joy to see our people winning and changing lives. And she's like, I can't get that at, not that she'd go to Chick-fil-A, but say she goes to Chick-fil-A as a manager. I don't know what position you have to be there to make more money. Maybe just like Steve Jobs, when he hired the CEO of Pepsi, right? Like that's a pretty prestigious job because you want to keep selling sugar water the rest of your life. It's a woo, right? I don't know what he paid him, but I don't think the CEO of Pepsi came because Steve Jobs gave him a bunch of money, right? I'm sure he was compensated fairly, but I bet you he made the same or less or similar. It wasn't like some big, I'm going to double my salary. It's because Steve Jobs looked him in the eyeball and said, you want to keep selling sugar water the rest of your life? And the guy went, crap, I don't. That's not what I want to do, right? Sorry, Pepsi. Just didn't mean to come at you, but we are what we are. So the way that we do that is shared values, right? Lindsay could go somewhere else, but we have a ton of fun here and we're super real. Like when you hear me, it's me. When Lindsay and I talk off air, she's like, same dude. When I talk to Lindsay, she's not like, all right, fake podcast Lindsay. It's the same Lindsay we know and love. We have fun. We help out. We make money. Like the things that are important to Lindsay are important to this whole team. So we're kind of on this mission together that's bigger than either of us, right? Like I couldn't do everything I do without my amazing team, and my amazing team couldn't do what we accomplish as a team without the rest of us. So we're kind of on this mission, and the money's important, of course, but churn's low because again, it's just trying to find a better option. And if your only option is here's $18 an hour to put your hand in that toilet, they're going to have a better option. But if you're like, we have weekly meetings, monthly parties, quarterly reviews, the people that you work with, you care about, you enjoy being here. We do something bigger. We're not just cleaning toilets. We're helping people get their time back and be able to be more efficient at work for commercial folks. There's just so much that we do. When they're down with your cause and they see the vision, they're just going to be a lot less likely to churn, but they still move, right? I'm not saying churn will be nothing. It's just, it'll be a lot lower. So the combination of having more people coming in with a system that you like and building a culture that you enjoy and they enjoy, that's magic. All right, Lindsay, you're always great at picking up what I missed or all the nonsense. What did I miss, or what are people asking, or what comments have you?
Okay, so I do have a question. Somewhere in your long, when you were on your soapbox, which I love.
It was long. Sorry.
No, it's good.
Subtle.
You mentioned always having more people available to hire than you need. So my question is, when you're doing these group interviews and you actually don't need to hire someone right away, like you're good, you're full, but you're seeing to still run group interviews, what would I tell the person that I'm interviewing that I really like them, but I don't actually have work for them right now?
It's a great question. I love that because that's exactly what people are afraid of. So there's two things. One is, what any other interview, like how many of you guys and gals, feel free to raise your hand out in podcast land or YouTube land, have been to an interview and they didn't hire you? You know, like most of us, unless you've had one job, you know, whatever. How many of them gave you a very specific reason as to why, or talked about their needs and whatever? None of them. They just didn't move forward in the process, right? So you just don't move forward. So at the group interview, you just say, hey, everybody, appreciate your time. If we're going to go forward in the process, we'll give you a call. Oh, hey, Lindsay, Steve, would you guys hang back for a second? I got a quick question. When everybody else leaves, Lindsay, Steve, my quick question is, can you do a one-on-one interview? And then I don't have to call the people back because the frame that we set was, hey, if we're going to move forward in the process, we'll give you a call. Just don't call. Like, it's really easy. And then for the one-on-one interview, you, same thing. If you don't decide they're going to go to a working interview, go, cool. If this makes sense and I think we're going to go forward, we'll give you a ring. And then just don't give them a ring. On the working interview, same thing, if you tell them we're going to do this process and each day you're like, cool, I feel like this, and this goes both ways, right? Like if, you know, I tell Lindsay on the one-on-one interview, hey, good news, I'd like you to come to the working interview. She might go, based on our time together, I don't think this is for me. Cool. Like, no big deal. So same thing on the working interview, which can last 3 or 4 or 5 days. At any time at the end of the day, you check in, everything good. And if Lindsay wants to go forward and I want to go forward, we go to the next day. And if either one of us don't, we just don't. So I don't have to tell her anything. Just like, hey, appreciate the time. Just don't think this is a fit. You can tell them more if you want, but I don't think you have to. But what most people miss is, one, you can hire floaters. Hey, Lindsay, appreciate you going. I think you'd be good here. Honestly, we don't have any full-time, or, you know, we coach like 15 to 25 hours a week. So when I say full-time, like, you know, we don't have a full schedule, and that would be something you tell them in the group interview or, you know, the one-on-one interview. We don't have all those hours yet, but I think you'd be great. We just have more people that want this job than we have jobs to give at this moment, which is great positioning, by the way, right? However, I think you'd be great. So I want to give you an opportunity if you're interested. Periodically, people will call out, or we'll have a new job or a last minute job or whatever the case may be. For the next month, if you're just going to be ready to roll, and you show up every time you do amazing work, we'll get you on this. We'll get you on the schedule. And I know for some of you, you're like, what about in a month if I still don't have any work? Cool. Let's talk about the other reason I could hire Lindsay, and that'll answer that question. Mike Campion here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to
do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Most of the time, if we're honest, and we have a team of more than like 3 or 4 people, they're not all A's, right? We got an A, maybe a B, maybe D, maybe less, right? So if I've got 3 people, an A, a B, and a C, right? And Lindsay shows up as an A applicant, well, why wouldn't I give her an opportunity for some of Mr. C or Mrs. C's hours? And you go, well, hold on, Lindsay might be a C or a D. Well, great, then I'll just give the next Lindsay another shot, or I'll give Mr. C his hours back. But one of 2 things will happen with Mr. C. He'll either shape up, he'll become a B or an A, problem solved, or he'll stay a C or even get frustrated that you've taken some of his hours and give you the finger and run off. Problem solved. Well, what if he does that and then Lindsay turns out to be a C? Well, then there'll be someone behind him or her because we've got a gosh darn hiring funnel. And what if Lindsay turns out to be a applicant but a C employee? Well, then she just doesn't make it through the working interview. Like, it's really not a big deal. People they start worrying about all these things that haven't happened. Well, what do I tell the person if, like, no, don't worry about it. It'll be fine, right? Like, did you guarantee them you'd give them a job no matter what? And then you had 1,000 hours of work ready to roll? Well, no, why would I say that? Well, then what are you worried about? That they're going to ask you, they're going to hold you to that standard that you've never agreed to.
Thanks, Mike. I love that explanation because my mind, you know me, Mike, I just go into the nitty gritty right away and all these what ifs. So thank you for exploring that. I'm sure Cleaning you should have the same question.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's probably the biggest. When we mentioned earlier, our clients that go from, I don't have any people, I'm dying, to I have too many people. What do I do? They want to turn off. I've given that speech to clients many a time because they feel like they've got too many for the first time ever. And their response is turn off a hiring funnel. It's like, yeah, because no one's ever going to quit or call out again, and you're never going to get another new client. It's like, well, of course not. And again, it's always okay to have too many, but it's weird how people literally come going, I don't have enough employees. This is the number one problem my whole life. I could just solve this, I'd be happy. And then when it's solved, they don't, a lot of times they're happy, and not that our people are ungrateful by any stretch, but they swing to, I got to turn off my hiring funnel. This is too many. Like, is there really such a thing as too many great people wanting to work for you? Is that really a complaint you want to have said out loud? Like, is that what we're trying to go for? All right. I went way too long on that one. I know we've got some other questions, so let's move on.
Let's do it. All right. Someone from the Facebook group said, how do you address situations where your subcontractors make mistakes and clients express dissatisfaction? Today, I experienced a client who did not provide specific feedback, but simply stated she was unhappy with the service and wished me the best of luck. And another client complained about the quality of a deep clean we did for her.
Okay. So there's a lot of things tying into that, right? We kind of touched on a lot of things. So number one is, how do you address situations where your subcontractors make mistakes? Again, I'm not a lawyer, and I couldn't, I know quite a bit about the difference between a subcontractor and 1099, but beyond, certainly nothing I'm going to give legal advice into a microphone. So from the business advice side of it, I'm going to hold my subcontractors to the same standard I hold my employees to. And if you're like, that's not legal, well, then I'm not going to have a subcontractor. Like if, if my relationship with this person is a subcontractor and I can't legally have them do a good job, well, then I shouldn't have a subcontractor, should I? Right? Like we got to so the subcontractor shouldn't really enter into it, right? Like if you're like, this isn't what this person's saying, but if anyone out there is going, well, I've chosen to have subcontractors, but I can't legally make them do a good job. What do? I'm like, stop having subcontractors. Like I don't have a solution for how to grow a healthy, successful cleaning company without doing great work. Like, we have this coaching company and Lindsay's a contractor, but she's not very good at her job. And our clients that work with her don't get results. What do? I'm like, hire someone better. It's like, no, subcontractors, I can't be better. Then stop hiring a subcontractor. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we got to work from the end backwards. We start the subcontractor and go forward. And I'm not saying subcontractors can't do good work or you can't hold them accountable. I am saying there's many of you that have the belief that subcontractors, because, I'm not getting into the whole, like, you're not supposed to train them. You can't control their hours. You can't give them uniforms. You can't buy supplies. Like, there's a bunch of guidelines, right? But if those guidelines are inhibiting you from doing a good job, then don't have subcontractors. Like, the price is too high to pay. So let's just check off the subcontractor box. And then she said two separate things. One, I had a client who said no feedback. She was unhappy with the service. And another complained about the quality. So I don't know how to my answer is always going to be, what was the problem? Right. So believe it or not, from the very little information I have, the mistake here was probably in the sales process, which people miss. So if I'm trying to sell Lindsay cleaning and I tell her, we're going to be the best cleaners ever, we never miss anything, which is what most of you do to some degree. Like, why aren't you happy now? Well, my cleaners started good and, now they don't do a great job. Well, that's perfect because we do the best job ever and we don't just start good, we stay good, and we're going to, whatever you need, you're going to be happy. But the problem is I didn't really ask her what she needed or what she wants or what it takes to make her happy. So she can just unilaterally go, I'm not happy. And it's like, well, but we did a great job. Well, I don't think you did a great job. So no one ever got clear on what a great job. We never agreed on what a great job was. So she paid for A and B. I sold her C. I sold her A, B, C, D, E, and F, but I only, you know what I'm saying? So there's a couple solutions. One is always clear. Well, the easiest way, by the way, to look amazing to your clients, let's say your service is A, B, C, D. You do these 4 things. Just sell them A, B, and C and do D for free. Really easy to just, there's 2 ways you can go. You can add on more services or you can just promise less and do the same amount of services. I like promising less and surprising and delighting. It's a lot more fun. So that's just a little bonus. But when it comes to clarity, we have to be clear. And most people, commercial and residential, their big thing is quality to them is the most clean for the least money, right? And a lot of it's more so on the residential side. I'm magic. I clean special. I'm really detail oriented. I'm so thorough. I love clean. Like, it's very self-centered. And then we just teach our clients that I'm the magic on that, which is not great if you try and scale and get other people to clean, because then if you're the magic, you kind of screwed yourself up. Or even if you're like, no, our team's magic and we're the best and we get that. That's just people. That's fine. People will kind of be okay with that. But that's not the deal I would set. If it was me, I'd really get to go with Lindsay. What made you invite me out today? What's going on? And she's probably going to say something like, I'm busy. I'm overwhelmed. I work really hard. I've got 3 kids. I don't want to be cleaning. When I clean, it takes away from the important things in my life. Cool. So instead of what she doesn't want is the best clean and whatever, and I tell her we're the cheapest thing and the most clean, that makes sense. So she's going to go, oh, okay, I guess that's good. I want lots of clean for not very much money. But if a good salesperson that really wants to help her and has a little more skill comes in and talks about what she needs, and we have a different conversation about, Lindsay, I get that when you see your 2-year-old crawling on the carpet and you see dog hair and he puts it in his mouth, it makes you sick to your stomach. Yeah, like you can't have that. And I get that you come home exhausted and you and your husband both work, because these are going to be nicer homes. They might have higher stress jobs. You're both working 50, 60 hours a week. And he's looking at you going, I can't. I worked. You gotta. And you're looking at him with the same thing. And yet the place is filthy. And you're like, I just can't. Our goal, Lindsay, is when you come home and it's been cleaning day, it's the best day of the week. You're like, oh, my house, I feel so loved and so happy. And Lindsay's smiling right now and she's just faking it. Right. She's like, I would like that. Lindsay's going to go hire a cleaner after this podcast. She's like, I need that in my life. And then when I can teach my cleaners, as opposed to a 1,000-point checklist, and you got to do it my way, the microwave cleaning, because it's special and it's magic, I can just say, before you leave, walk through the house. They pay us a lot of money. The standard is if you walk through the house, you're like, I feel great. Or the office or the business, right? I feel like I can do work here. And if that's not the case, fix it. And if it is the case, you did a good job. So, and I'm also going to tell Lindsay, hey, here's the deal. If you stick with me long enough, promise you will make a mistake. We make mistakes. So we say we're perfect. We never make a mistake. Well, blah, 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 blah. Why do that? It's crazy. Same thing with, I'm going to give you the same cleaner no matter what. It's like, will you? Can I really commit some other human will do a certain thing for years at a time? Like, that's crazy talk. I can't commit. I won't be dead tomorrow. How can I possibly say Lindsay's going to be here forever? Right. So I'm just going to really get to the root of it. Well, what is it going to be the same cleaner? I don't know, Lindsay, probably not, but you'll have the same feeling when you walk in. Oh, okay, I'm good. Right. She just wants to really be understood. And the cool thing is once she's in, I'm going to be able to get time back. I'm going to be able to be a better mom. I'm going to be a better wife. My relationships are going to improve. How I feel when I come home from work is going to improve. The price really doesn't matter at that point. Like, obviously it can't be some obscene amount that she can't afford or that, whatever, but $300, $370 a month, like what we think is a big deal. It doesn't matter at that point. So to answer the question, it was probably all this problem was in the sales, right? Especially if she's like, I'm just not happy. There was no rapport in that, right? Like whoever accepted her as a client didn't really get, or there was just some I'm promising the world. And she's like, I'm too exhausted. I don't have the time or the crayons to explain this to you. Like, I'm just not interested in going down that road. So I'll just say something nice, like, I appreciate it, but get out. Right. So almost always it's the sales process. If there's some sort of rapport and you have a relationship, you can go, did you not feel great when you came in? I didn't feel great. Oh my gosh, Lindsay, I'm so sorry. Remember I told you earlier, no matter what, we're going to make a mistake, but I always got your back. Let's get your back. And then you don't just fix it. Of course you fix it. You send her flowers, or you bring cookies, or a little gift, or you do something above and beyond the next time for free to let them know, hey, I really appreciate it. So step one, make sure that you've got tremendous clarity on the sales process of what they want. Don't oversell, right? Sell on what you can actually deliver. Not that everyone will be here and it's always going to be perfect. It's never going to change cleaners and nothing's ever going to go wrong. Do the opposite. Generally, most of the time, you're going to feel really good when you come home. You're going to love having us. In the rare occasion where we do absolutely mess up, just give us a headache. Not only are we going to make you right, we're going to make it better than right. We'll always have your back. And then just have an honest conversation. Like, it's really not that. I think we make it a lot more complex than it needs to be. All right. I don't think we've got time for any more questions, but anything on that one, Lindsay, that you feel like I missed or the community might have a question on?
It just took a surprise twist for me. That's my feedback. Because it started with what they thought was the problem. It's the subcontractors. And yeah, there's, obviously, as you explained, subcontractors, there's stuff that comes with that, some baggage, but just based on the feedback questions from the customers, it's really a sales problem, most likely. So didn't see that coming. Enjoyed it.
Yeah. And it's fun because a lot of times there's nothing more frustrating trying to solve the wrong problem. Yeah. And then I don't want to say failing, but not getting the result that you want because you're solving the wrong problem. Then once you get the right problem, you're like, oh, you're right. Like, it's super obvious. If I had to just set expectations properly in the first place, it would have been no problem. But the problem is if you keep setting the expectation, we're going to be perfect, everything needs to be amazing, it's real hard to keep that. So you go back a step, it's almost easier to, same with the hiring thing. I have too much churn, and when people quit, I'm miserable. And they think, how do I get less churn? It's like, let's go back a step and go, where's the people to fill that spot? I don't have anyone. Well, let's solve that problem. So good bonus lesson. If the problem that you're seeing doesn't make sense, take a step back, right? I've got a bunch of software and systems and I don't know how it all works together. What's the problem I'm trying to solve? Like, go backwards one. And a lot of times you get some clarity. All right, guys, and gals, hopefully that was helpful. Feel free to reach out. We do this just to make your guys and gals' lives better. Let us know what you want to hear about, right? If, because we are always trying to figure out what do you guys want to hear. And I'll be honest with you, we don't spend a lot of time focusing on startups. So if it's questions about how do I form an LLC or get my first client or do pricing or stuff that new people do, we're not going to do a ton of that. But if you're doing at least $100,000 a year and you're stuck somewhere before you're at $1 million, or you're at $1 million, but you're still not making the profit that you should, or you can't grow, or you can't get out of cleaning, let us know what you think the problem is, and we'd be happy to address it and call you out in a positive way on the show. So appreciate your time and attention. Let us know what you want. You can email Mike@growmycleaningcompany.com, hit us on Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want. Let us know what you want more of, and we'll do our best to give it to you. Talk soon.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge, and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it, and we sure appreciate your time and attention.